Heyo everyone, it's Unfit Chaos here, and today we are going to talk about Spear. This is my Spear guide. So as I said, we're going to talk about Spear, and let's get right into it first off with what are your attributes as a Spear user. So I highly recommend, if you're a straight Spear user, to spam agility as much as possible. This is going to increase that piercing damage. Normally you'd want a little bit of stats and other stuff, but as a medium armor wearer, the Carnifex's camisole and the set gives you as a 4-piece 10 into your strength, agility, toughness, and armor. That'll give you a little bit more of a defensiveness to then resist taking damage and deal maximum damage by spamming that agility as much as you can. As you see, I put everything, adding 80 into my agility, and with the camisole set, that then makes it 90 in agility and 30 in every other stat. So as we're talking about camisole, let's talk about equipment that you're going to go for. So you're going to use the Carnifex's set. You're going to get all the pieces for that, which will then get you 150 in piercing, slashing, and blunt damage, as well as those 10 stats per an attribute. On top of that, you're going to want to just go with whatever defenses you can get your hands on based off of your play style. If you're doing more of a deathmatch, you might want different defenses versus if you're doing something like field battle where you're going to run into a lot of cavalry. So just kind of balance out your defenses as much as you can. I went with a fairly even spread at 616, 646, and 633 currently. Another great thing to look at on your armor is going to be trying to get leadership point increases. That is something I've not gotten my hands on yet, but it is highly recommended, especially in territory wars, since you can take higher tier units out with you with that higher leadership amount. As far as weapon, this is going to be your big damage dealing item. I recommend getting a beast killer, so that is going to be your rare schematic weapon. That way you can easily get more rare schematics and keep re-rolling it and reconditioning it to try to get it to as best of a weapon as possible. Currently, I do have a legendary beast killer, but the stats are not very good. It is better than the epic I had before, but as you can see, I've got slashing increased with the armor penetration and the damage. This is nice for unit kills, since I can use my slashing abilities to do big AoE damage, but it's not the best for taking out other warlords or just dealing great damage using your ultimate and your kick. So I highly recommend going with the piercing weapon, but as with this circumstance, if you get a better one that is just all around better, even though it's slashing, take it as you can. So you've got your equipment in order. What about your skills? Skills are going to be highly subjective. It's going to be based off a lot of what you do. So first off, whether or not you're trying to go for unit kills or warlord kills. For unit kills, I highly recommend using Lose March. It's always a great one to have because it does give you the reduction in damage and you get the armor increase as you're using it when you get it maxed out. On top of that, I highly recommend using Hurricane's Edge. So Hurricane's Edge is just a wonderful ability for unit killing. It gives you a giant AoE. It causes a bit of a daze as you're hitting. It's just a wonderful ability for doing massive damage to a massive group of units. Downside is, it is an 18-second cooldown. So I am not a huge fan of it for warlord kills. For that, I highly recommend something like Overhead Strike. This is going to be a little bit more of a directed attack. It also has a stun, but it also does a puncture on the target's armor, which reduces the target's defense by 10% for the next 3 seconds. This will allow you to direct your damage on one target, which is really good for taking out warlords. Procris's Gift is a given, no matter what. I highly recommend running it because this allows you to have a ranged attack. Typically as a melee unit, you're not going to have the ability to engage at a distance or to try to take out an enemy at a distance. Procris's Gift, though, gives the spear that ability to extend to an enemy, and it also is really great for harassing enemies. If they're hiding in their unit groups, or if they're just sitting there waiting for an engagement, you can get a little cheap damage in and harass them as you're waiting for the battle to engage. It's also a wonderful ender on your opening setup. That way you can try to get someone if they're trying to retreat or if they're trying to dodge away. As far as ultimates go, I really recommend Dragon's Roar. As you can see, Heaven's Fury is an option as well, and I recommend you try it out. But Dragon's Roar gives you a lot of utility. It allows you to travel distance which is wonderful for chasing someone down, or as your opening stance, which I will go over the opener that I highly recommend doing in a second, and Dragon's Roar is a big part of this. As far as Heaven's Fury is concerned, it also is a wonderful alternative. The big problem I have with it is it's more of a stand-in-place ability. It doesn't have a lot of movement capability to it, but it is a higher damage output overall. It does do 7,000 plus damage, and then if you get it all the way up, you're talking 10,000 plus damage compared to only the 6,000 that Dragon's Roar does. It does do 367% on Dragon's Roar compared to the 583% of your base piercing on Heaven's Fury. So Heaven's Fury is great if you can stand in place and do a lot of damage straight on the enemy, but it does not have that utility that Dragon's Roar has, which is a huge reason why I prefer and recommend running Dragon's Roar. I do recommend though that you pick them both up, try them out, see which one fits your playstyle better, and then go from there and work on it. So we got that taken care of. Let's talk about how to play Spear. So with Spear, there's one thing that I highly recommend learning, and that is an opener. It's a big thing with Spear to be on your horse. We're one of the few classes that have really good horseback abilities. We have both a charge, which is great for running with cavalry. You also have the smash down ability that will knock over your enemy. So a huge thing to learn is this opener. What I like to do is if I'm engaging an enemy from a distance on cav and I'm coming up on them, you do a smash down on them. You then dodge back to avoid any replication that they try to put in. And then after you dodge back, you Dragon's Roar to re-engage, use another ability to do more damage, and then you proc Chris's gift. You can either dodge back again and proc Chris's gift in a response, or you can proc Chris's gift if they try to dodge back and run away. This will take out a lot of the weaker enemies right away. It won't take out a lot of your heavy armor enemies, such as your glaives, long swords, short swords. This opener will definitely put a huge dent in them and make them second guess continuing the engagement. As far as other ways to play the Spear, cavalry is a huge thing with Spear. It's a wonderful one, as I've mentioned. So I would definitely recommend looking at some cav units and trying them out, especially if you've got them on auxiliary. Also, on top of cav units, I highly recommend units that let you hold your place, such as your Spear Sergeants, Imperial Spear Guards, just something that lets you have assistance on the front line that then will allow you to retreat back is a wonderful thing. You are squishy compared to other front line melee units. A lot of the other ones will have heals or heavier armor. You're more of a get in, do the damage, get out type. So having a unit like Spear Sergeants, Imperial Shear Guards that you can place down, let them do a lot of the engagement. You can jump out, stab a bunch, do some damage, and get back behind lines to then heal up or just to disengage from the enemy's abilities. So I would highly recommend trying out some melee units as well that are more of a wall defense unit. So I hope this video helped you out on how to run Spear. Spam that agility, get you that wonderful beast killer weapon and that Carnifex set, and then run out, use that opener, take out some enemies, and enjoy getting some wonderful kills on the battlefield. Please hit that like button or subscribe. If you want to see that utility build, keep an eye out. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or join the Discord, or please join the stream at 12:30 a.m. Eastern, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Till next time, I'll see you on the battlefield. Goodbye. I got God of War! Oh, this match is going so well. No.